So we're in chapter 605 and we're going to look at references because SketchUp and layout are linked. You can also insert text files and insert image files as well into layout for laying out. There are a couple of ways in which it deals with the SketchUp file depending on whether you've sent it from SketchUp or you've inserted it. Now, normally you would want to insert content into a pre-configured sort of template file. So sending it from layout won't give you that option. Every time you send a drawing from layout, it'll open up a new file. That could be a template file, but it doesn't allow you then to insert that content into the same drawing as other content, unless you cut and paste it from one to the other. So it's kind of convoluted. So the best way of doing it is to go File and Insert. Now I'm going to insert, this is already inserted. I'm going to insert this one, which is called Reference 1. And that's then going to sit inside my layout sheet. Now the beauty of having inserted content is I can double click this and move it around. I can zoom in, zoom out. I can set the shadows. I can set the styles. I can do all sorts of different things. What I can't do, however, is amend the geometry. If I want to do that, I have to edit the source of this. Now if we look at the document setup dialog box and the references, I've now got two references here. I've got the logo, this one here, and I've got this one. Now they're both linked to the saved path. I've also got the status telling me that they're both current or up to date, and I've got another column which tells me what the insertion date and the insertion time was. So if I just close that down for a second, if I now want to edit the source geometry of this, I can either do it through layout by going right click and open with SketchUp, or I can just open the SketchUp file. I'll do it through this, which makes life a little bit easier. So now I've got access to that geometry. I can push pull that, save this, go back to layout, and this is going to update automatically. Because of the way I have inserted it and not sent it, then it's going to be automatically updated. If I was to make another change, so I'll just double click this. This doesn't affect the geometry at all. If I was to orientate that differently and then close that down, it doesn't change that inside of layout. This is going to stay the same orientation. I'll make another change. I'll save it. I'll go back to layout. And again, you can see the changes manifest there. Now, if I didn't want any more changes to happen inside of layout, then I could unlink it from that file and send it from its current file location to the temporary folder location on my hard drive. So if I, again, File, Document Setup, and unlink, then I've now got a different file name, different file path, and this is saved into my temporary folder location. And it now tells me that it's embedded in this file. Now it's still a SketchUp file. I can still do things with it. But if I made changes to this and saved those, and then went back to layout and right-clicked, the opportunity to update that doesn't occur anymore. I can't, if I select this, update, nothing happens because it's the wrong file. So again, just be careful about this sort of thing. What I could do is relink it. So I could select this. Because I can't relink from this, I have to go into this file path and relink. And I go back to my references, open that, and then this is going to update like so. And this behavior is similar for all sorts of different things. There is a slightly different approach. If I was to, within SketchUp, File, Send to Layout, if I was to choose a different file, so that's not sending it to this one now, that's sending it, even though it's the same file, it's sent to a different layout drawing. And in this one I've got the current reference. If I was then to go back to this and make changes to that and save this, we go back to layout, then the references drawing will update, but this one won't. And it tells me there that it's out of date. So I then select this and update and then make changes that way. Okay, so I hope that's as clear as it can be. Just be aware of the process that layout has when it links files with SketchUp. There are two different ways of doing it and they behave slightly differently, but just always be aware that there is a dynamic link between SketchUp and Layout, unless, of course, you decide to unlink, and then it embeds it into your temporary folder on your hard drive.